Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of Uncovering the Corners of the World podcast. I'm your host, Karina Kasmala. Each week, using research and in some cases using personal experiences where I actually traveled to these locations, I'll be explaining some of the hidden gems in the US and around the world. This week, we are traveling to the eastern side of the United States, specifically to Maryland, the state that borders Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, and Delaware. Maryland is the state that gave up part of its land to create Washington, D.C. It is also the 7th state in the United States of America, becoming a state officially on April 28, 1788. From the Fact Retriever website, it even said that Baltimore in Maryland established the first ever post office in the United States in 1774. While the first school in the United States was built in Annapolis in 1696 with the name Williams School. Our first stop is actually an island off the coast of Maryland. Two herds of horses are split by the state line and a fence with groups ranging from 2 to 12 horses, one on the Virginia side and one on the Maryland side. But our focus is on the Maryland side, where wild horses roam alongside the beach of Assateague Island at Berlin, Maryland. Legends say that the Assateague horses were what survived off of a shipwreck from the Virginia coast, even if there is no proof of that story. There is, however, a more believable story, and that is that today's horses on Assateague Island are the offspring from the 17th century horses that were brought in by the people living on the island as a way to sneak past fencing laws, according to the National Park Service website. As for the history of the island, Assateague Island was once part of Fenwick Island, until a storm in August 1933 divided the land. Fenwick Island is located today in Delaware. When you visit Assateague Island, you can hike alongside 37 miles of beach. You can also canoe or kayak, participate in surf fishing, or you can ride your bike on the Bayberry Drive. There's even an option to camp with your horse, as there's also horseback riding available. Assateague Island is part of the Assateague State Park, where it is Maryland's only oceanfront park. On the Virginia side of this island, this long strip, Assateague Island, it is known as Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge. The wild Assateague horses take part in the traditional Chincoteague festival known as pony penning, originally started 94 years ago. A few days before pony penning, all the horses are gathered by saltwater boys into the southern corral on Assateague Island, while some horses are gathered into the northern corral by the same group. Then, on Pony Penning Day, the horses swim from Assateague Island on the Assateague Channel to Chincoteague Island. The event usually happens for a full week in July, including an auction to buy a Assateague or Chincoteague foal. The reason behind the auction is to help control the population of horses, specifically the 60 foals that are born each year, according to the Chincoteague website. Roughly 150 adult horses can live on the island. The foals that are auctioned are between the ages of 4 to 6 months and are able to eat grains, while there is also an event that buys back the horse so it can live the rest of its life on the island. On the Virginia side of the island, there's also a museum of Chincoteague, which explains the history of the Assateague and the small community of people that lived on the island. The people that lived on Assateague had no access to running water or electricity. According to the National Park Service website, the community worked as watermen or for the United States Life-Saving Service, with 4 stations on the island: Assateague Beach, Pope Island, Green Run, and the North Beach. If you think of a farm, the first thing that might come to mind are horses, cows, chickens, pigs, corn, beans. But I bet you wouldn't consider robots as part of your farm, would you? Our next stop is at Lawyer Winterbrook Farm at 13001 Kriegerston Town Road, Thurmont, Maryland, where there stands a 30-foot robot built by Jan Lawyer, who was interested in building things, as mentioned by the Slate.com website article. This farm is known for its amazing corn mazes and its 30-foot junk bots. These robots that Jan Lawyer built are made out of old car parts and other materials, and they stand at the entrance of Lawyer Winterbrook Farm. Besides being known for its giant robots, it's also known for being Maryland's largest corn maze, according to the Winterbrook Farm website. The farm is a 327-acre hay and crop farm with its fourth generation of owners, Taylor Huffman, the daughter of Jan Lawyer, and her husband Brandon. One of the activities at the farm are their corn mazes, which can even be seen on Google Earth. The first maze was cut in 2000, originally made by Jan Lawyer, as a way to create something different from the other farms and finding a way to support the farm. The following years, the maze was created by Maze Play. In 2016, the maze was designed to look like police cars and people with the phrase, "Our Heroes," while in 2020, corn maze was cut into designs like shoes and stars representing Platoon 22. Other activities include shooting apples from the apple canyons, racing along the pedal cart track, or running the round ball rollers, where you get to experience what it's like to be a hamster exercising in a hamster wheel. Thank you for listening to this week's episode on Maryland. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts and tune in next week as we explore more hidden attractions in